Holy thing, like coming to you with the second part because it got interrupted. So, I had to take a walk finally, go ground myself a little bit because this moon, it's a Cancer moon and I'm a Cancer moon. So, it's been very fucking tense for me. Really, it really has. I'm trying to not curse, but I'm going to curse when I want to, okay? So, you're looking at perspectively. Like, I need y'all to understand, right, with this shit right here. Don't allow the narrative to drag you right into assumption until you have fully investigated. So, girl with the snake, empath, narcissist. This person is with this person is with, I don't know, somebody who wants to call you. Okay, this is says someone expresses love, message of love, thinking of you, letting you know. But this person is a narcissist, charmed you, or they are an empath and they're being charmed by a narcissist. Either way, it says girls with the snake and keys on a ring. So many option decisions and unconventional string alongs and one night stands, but this person stalks you, watches you, gaslight perception. So this is one of your options. They have options, but they're not making up their mind. And you were supposed to start, this new beginning with somebody. And the thing is, there's, I don't know. It's like you got to look at perspective. Honey, free will is free will, right? You can't be mad for people. They decide to do what they want to do. But this is what you need to understand. Y'all talk about the devil, the devil, the devil. See, the devil got a story too, though. And that's what y'all don't need to understand because, it's all different sides. So, there's a reason why if you really break this shit down, it can mean 1,000 different things. You see? Because initially that just meant the accused ones or some shit like that. So it wasn't limited to, say, Shaitan the Jinn. You see what I'm trying to say? Okay. Example. Or Lucy the Cherub, right? But Apollo is a demi. So you trying to say Apollo, Santa, Satan, I get it, like it's a wordplay thing. But you really did have Saint Nicholas. You see what I'm trying to say? Like you had levels to this shit. You actually had characters. So of course, if they sat here and fuck with your doctrines and fuck with the story and sat here and tried to manipulate it to where they can sway your emotional outcome, that is, a form of craft. And you need to understand, like, if y'all doing tarot, you're not going to get an accurate reading unless you get a personal. You can't really go on collective. Now, collective can be ran by a narrative, but when we dealing with tarot, this is heavenly host shit, right? We deal with Christ, we go above this shit. So once we get in Christ consciousness, boo, we don't allow narratives to dictate. But for some of us, we also use this as a tool to help manifest or almost like investigative, okay? Like, especially if you're trying to use it towards self-improvement, right? Right. Tree of life. Okay, tarot is the Torah, tree of life, all that shit, Kabbalah, right? All that shit. So, which is the inner dimensions within yourself, as well as the outer, connected. These people watch you, they hold on to your energy, you feel it. But do you have the details as far as, what I'm saying, what's going on or what it is or what happened? Because, again, they didn't give you clarity. They could sit here and gaslight you, right? They could sit here and gaslight you. But at the end of the day, they know they fucked up. Okay? So they can say, oh, you're a crazy bitch and I did what I did because you're crazy. No. You did what you did to make me crazy. And because you didn't get the reaction you wanted, you still gaslighting me trying to call me crazy. And the thing is, that I'm going to prove to you even more that I'm not fucking crazy. Now, maybe confused? Maybe. If people ain't talking, we can't clarify. So you sitting here saying, well, why is divine feminine tripping? Because everybody not speaking. And there was foul play. 444, warning, there was foul play. So we're not going to brush it off as if this shit ain't relevant. Excuse me, let me close this door real quick. We're not going to look at this shit like it's irrelevant. Like, oh, we're just going to brush it off. But what I'm trying to tell you is, allow the devil to manipulate the narrative and then get you enticed or get you to like now obsess over the narrative, right? What I realized in my spiritual journey, we have to stay in the present moment. We have to live in the present. If you're focused on the future, honey, that's going to bring anxiety, depression, things like that. You bringing that shit to yourself. You're projecting something that hasn't even happened yet. You're trying to affirm it based on what somebody else is telling you. So this is where you need to know thyself. You need to know what is true and what isn't true for you. And don't just take somebody's word because they said it. You know, or don't look too much deep into something to the point where you're psychologically mind fucking yourself. Does that make sense? Because y'all want the answer so fucking bad. You're like, I'm gonna make up an answer at this point. And I'm not trying to make stories up. You know, I'm trying to get to the fucking bottom of something. Because, you know, when I OCD over something, it's a wrap. It's like, you know, but today with the first reading, it just confirmed that like a lot of us just gotta let the shit go, man. And if you can't control your tarot consumption, don't even watch it. Because it's obviously a trigger. And I've seen a lot of people go crazy over this shit. I've seen them, you know, lose their fuck sanity. I've seen them get taken over. I've seen the devil manipulate both sides of the script. Okay? You know, the narrative. And this is why I gotta tell you, boo, you need to control your narrative. You control your narrative. See, you can blame the devil all you fuck want, right? But the devil don't force you to do nothing. It can't impose, force, nothing. All it can do is suggest or influence. And the thing is, we so quick to always blame the fucking devil, but we not blaming the fact that we are weak motherfuckers. We are weak vessels, yo. We are dumbfounded. And again, yes, the devil sit here and take that shit and run with it. But the point is, you can't allow these energies to influence your decision making. Okay, this is where you're gonna have to make a decision based on careful contemplation. You know, you're gonna, if I were you, I pray on it. Because your way ain't the way, their way ain't the way. And there's really only one way that is the highway. And that's God's way. Jehovah's way. So make sure whatever before making any decisions, y'all. Right? Because you got all these tarot readers talking about, you got to leave, you got to leave. Then you got the Bible talking about, if they tell you to go over here, don't go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's confusing people. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I say, fuck this job? Should I continue and then see if I do better at it? I mean, I'm going to tell you like this. There is no right or wrong in this life. It's all about experience and knowledge and what you're gaining. It's all gain. Even if it's negative, it's gain. Because the darkness and the negativity, right, what you claim to be negative, that's where you got your wisdom from, was all the lessons that you went through. So you came down to this level to learn, to go to school. Whatever your agreement was, your soul contract. This is why you got to go back to know thyself and your terms and conditions. You will sit here and maybe just take a lesson and run it to its course. Overdo it. And then sit here and get mad and have resentments. When it did exactly what it needed to do and you should be happy. You see what I'm saying? And learn from that shit. Next time, make different decisions. And charge it to the game. But, you know what I'm saying? What it does, it builds people to become vengeful. Or to, you know, to create problems that weren't there. In a certain sense. So, let's get into the Python. Pytha, which is divination. Or, you know, it's connected, right? They say there's different spirits that operate out of divination. But this is, again, we talk about two different versions. Divination was here before, you know, the Bible was written, if you think about it. So, I think when you really read the New Testament and you read the Old Testament, you're going to see they're different. This is why when you understand the truth that they have divided all the knowledge and divided yourself and your mind and all that, you got to come to oneness within yourself in completion, or you're going to be like ping-ponging from side to side. You're going to be sitting here getting played by all these energies. But this is the point. You included these people in your life when it comes to like your details and shit. These people took advantage of you. But once you said what you needed to say, that was that. That was that. You don't gotta prove no point after that. If people want to talk to you, they'll clarify it. They want to smile in your face and pretend, they want to act weird and strange and get, because I get to a point, I have PTSD, so I become suspicious real fast. You know what I'm saying? I'm triggered. So because of my PTSD, this is why it's going to take some years for me to really, unless God is just going to clear that shit right away, it's going to take some time for me to get out of this fight or flight, hyper vigilance, and overdrive. That was due to the PTSD, due to the MK Ultra. So this is why I isolate myself, because I know I can't be around certain people and not be triggered. So at least I know the difference. You see what I'm trying to say? I already know the difference. But if people are not educated as far as dealing with certain people that have certain conditions, or they're not empathetic of such, you ain't got to sit here and explain. You ain't got to even fight for yourself. None of that. You just cut that shit off. Gravitate towards people where you don't even have to sit here and explain. They just empathetically understand you. Because a lot of y'all dealt with this girl with the snake. You dealt with a lot of narcissistic relationships. That shit took a toll on you, yo. And I know they have like courses where they talk about codependent supplies. You know what I'm saying? Like, where eventually the empath does develop certain negative patterns as a result of, certain phobias, or certain issues are developed as a result of the constant abuse. And because you overlook these things, maybe it just got worse until it became an issue for you, where your perception was altered, or in this case, you were constantly paranoid. But instead of people trying to understand where you were coming from and trying to relate with you, they just judged you and they triggered you. So that caused you to almost be like, rah, you know what I'm saying? Get on this warfare shit, because you would feel like these are people that love you, or care about you, and they should be able to understand. So it's showing me like with these soul connections, you had a lot of unrequited love. This was karmic lessons. And at least if you do your chart, you're aware of that. So you're not sitting here thinking like, is there something wrong with me? No, these were the lessons, because you have to learn to love yourself. Maybe that was your lesson. You know what I'm saying? You were trying to find this validation or love outside of yourself. So you attracted all these different circumstances. This goes back to the mother father wounding. A lot of y'all, you got to forgive your parents, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody makes mistakes, y'all, even you. So if you want God to forgive you, you're going to have to learn to forgive others, even though you feel like, there's things that they're not forgivable. And that's the point, because once you forgive, the devil has no power to keep playing y'all toe to toe, whether you include people back into your life, right, or not. But it takes a real motherfucker to sit here and actually transmute a situation. And that's what Christ did. So we're not here to run from the devil, or in case the energy that's sitting here playing with ping pong, both. At the end of the day, the person still makes a choice based on the information they have. And you can't be mad at them either way, because it's all going towards the will or purpose of both. You know what I mean? The growth of whatever. And you can't look at shit with regrets. Maybe a lot of y'all need to forgive yourselves for allowing people to play in your face because you wanted to be loved. You know what I'm saying? And again, you came through a lot. You went through a lot. So right now, these soulmates that you're supposed to have contract with, these are narcissists. You're supposed to transmute these narcissists, if they're willing, because they had a contract. And this goes back to, these are like Anunnakis bloodline. Um, these are giant Anunnaki bloodlines who agreed to join the evolution. but you're not begging. You see? They may not see yet what you see. And that's okay. If you love them, you accept that and you let them be. You let them figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But you're right. I shouldn't be imposing on motherfuckers, or I shouldn't be pressure pushing. But that's as a result because I give a fuck. And because I feel like the time is limited. So I'm sorry for my pushiness, you know? I really give a fuck about you. Like I want to see you make it and get it. And no, I'm not calling you out to make you feel bad. I'm calling you out because I'm calling you out because I love you and I want you to do better. And I see better for you. Whether you see the potential or not. But again, we can't force people to see. Perception is something that for you to get to a point where you perceive what you perceive, it took you so many trials and errors and experiences and karma and bullshit for you to get to a point where you learned what you learned. This is why you can't get this knowledge, honey, in a book. Even though we write about it in a book, right? We can relate because people have expressed their experiences, and then like the Bible is basically different experiences of these people that we can relate, like God is showing us. But be careful that you don't take on the story of the Bible, boo, because you're binded then by prophecy, and that is a spell in a certain sense. And it's really God's will be done for us because God knows what's good for us. So even though you trying to fit a narrative, you see what I'm trying to say? Anything can change, even the way you look at this shit. And right now, these were soul connections, partnerships, agreements. You had soulmate. Girl with the snake, these were empath paradigm, being charmed, you had to learn some lessons here. Okay? And eventually, you're going to get back out there, or these people have options. Either way, if you think that they stick with one person, no, boo. These people, they do the same shit they do to you to somebody else. So don't feel bad like, oh, am I special? The only one getting treated like shit? No, this is more like, you need to get back out there. It says keys on a ring. You need to have options. Maybe y'all need to go have a one night stand at least one time, dog. Like, it says no string attached though. Don't get emotionally attached. But maybe y'all been isolating too much, been too restricted, you've been too harsh, too one-sided, and it's kind of telling you need to get the fuck back out there, and at least live a little. Go on a date if you feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, and get to know people. But don't get emotionally attached, right? Right. Because, I mean, you got to do the healing. This is why they tell you in recovery, like with addicts, have a problem dealing with their own emotions, better yet somebody else's. So this is why they tell you in recovery, when you're getting clean and sober, don't get in relationships, because that's a trigger. So maybe that's a trigger for you. Like, it create, with the trauma and the patterns, and you're starting to learn this shit about yourself. Like, me, I'm borderline personality, so it's hard for me to have intimate relationships with people because of my traumas and my split personality. So when I'm being triggered, then my the other side of me comes out, you know what I'm saying, to defend me, and it becomes mayhem. So yeah, I can't be operating like that, but this is where people were obviously triggering you. Were they aware that they were triggering you? Probably not, because when you're being used by the devil, you don't have awareness. And that's why Jesus tell you, God forgive them, for they don't know what they do. And you need to forgive them anyway, because they're just vessels, and that's not an excuse for them to get away with it or let them just keep doing what they're doing. But if you are the Christ consciousness energy, you're here to show them love, what God love looks like. Unconditional love. Agape. And when Jesus was, he wasn't selfish, he was selfless. He even lowered his standards to the angels, which means he was born poor and lived a shitty life, just to show you that the spiritual path is to show you it's not related to the material wealth. This is why when y'all think, I'm a magician and I manifest abundance, that's cool and dandy, but it's not about that. It's about the inner reality. It's about the emotional intellect. It's about the supernatural shit, which It goes beyond material. It has nothing to do with it. It's not an image. On the contrary, for you to get on a spiritual tip, you're going to have to kill off that ego. That's why your will becomes fuck relevant. So for the fake spiritual community, because you're fake, you're mixing all these concepts together, and this is why there's people like me who have to call you out on your shit and fucking organize your brain and show you, you know, like, and show you the fuck information prospectively, because people lie and you don't really know the full truth. So you just assume. And we don't want to assume. You know, four agreements talk about don't assume, and when you assume or expect, you're gonna be disappointed, right? Okay. So it's telling you get back out there. These people got options. So if you think they just got one option, no.